Kyle is no longer part of the network. And so...
Keep it 100, I be feeling like Campbell soup over white rice. Baked chicken with the skin on. Yeah, Lowry's with black pepper. I'm fully seasoned with laughter.
Kyle Kulinski, the host of Secular Talk, has officially left the TYT network. So I'm going to play a video of Cenk Uygur speaking on why Kyle left, and then I'll discuss.
Matthew H. asked, been watching you since 2014, just wondering when you'll have people like Kyle or Vosh on the Friday Power Panel. So I honestly, I don't know enough about Vosh, but I'll look into him more. I know that he got involved in some of these controversies, but and we have people on from the network and our guest hosts more often. Kyle is no longer part of the network. And so he says that he disagrees with us on some policy issues. It is what it is. Good luck to him. And let's see if he can placate the people he's trying to placate. My guess is it'll end in disaster. It has already started in disaster, and probably will head in that direction. So we've had Kyle on many times before, and we had a great relationship with him. We've done many shows with him and supported him. Nowadays, though, he seems to be going in a different direction. Everybody's free to make their own choices.
So it's important to note a few things here. Cenk said Kyle is no longer part of the network and only brought it up because a fan asked when will he be on TYT again. So it doesn't seem like the split was very amicable, because when you compare that split to the announcement of the split between Jimmy Dore and TYT, the way it was announced was very different. I'll play a part of the clip of when TYT and Jimmy Dore split so you can see it.
All right, so Jimmy Dore has exited the building, and I think that a lot of you probably have seen his video talking about that. And he used to host Progressive, this show, along with the Jimmy Dore show. And so first thing I'd like to say is, I love Jimmy Dore. And I always have, and I hope that I always will. And so it's certainly not anything personal at all. And we had wonderful, wonderful moments on air with Jimmy throughout a great number of years here at the Young Turks.
When Jimmy Dore and TYT split, they were still all friends, and it was an event so important to Cenk and TYT that they had to dedicate an entire segment to it. Compared to when Kyle split with TYT, it was mentioned only because it was asked by a fan and it was brought up in passing. Like Kyle was rather insignificant to them. So now let's talk about the meat of this. Cenk said Kyle left over policy disagreements. Well, let's look at the policies that they disagreed on. Russiagate, Syria, Force the Vote, and TYT smeared real journalists like Aaron Mate and Glenn Greenwald while praising Ryan Grimm, who's terrible, by the way. So all of these policies Kyle happened to be correct on, while TYT was wrong on every single one of these issues. So TYT, they claim Donald Trump worked with Russia to rig the election, which is false. There was no evidence to back up that claim whatsoever, and there's still no evidence to back that up because it did not happen. TYT, they pushed the narrative that Assad bombed his own people, then never reported on the OPCW leak that disproved that claim. And they smeared everyone who was in favor of Force the Vote, which was an effort to get progressives to hold their vote for Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House, unless she brought up Medicare for All for a floor vote. TYT also lied and said that holding your vote for Nancy Pelosi would cause Kevin McCarthy to become the House Speaker. And the reason why it's false is because in order for Kevin McCarthy to become the House Speaker, he has to get a majority of the votes in the House. So unless Democrats actually went over and voted for Kevin McCarthy, he wouldn't have the numbers to win no matter what. Even if he somehow got more votes than Nancy Pelosi, there just wouldn't be a speaker. But instead they lied and said Kevin McCarthy would become speaker. But I'll expand more on that in another video coming up shortly. Oh, and I forgot. They also They also smeared Julian Assange. So these are just a few policy disagreements that would create a massive rift between anyone with sense. These aren't issues where there's just some middle ground. TYT is objectively wrong on all of those issues. If you're objectively wrong so often, how can you call yourself a journalist? Imagine attending a class taught by Anna Kasparian about journalism. She teaches journalism at some university. Imagine. Anyway, so TYT, they're more akin to Rachel Maddow and Tucker Carlson, who a federal judge ruled that those shows are not news due to blatant over exaggerations and falsehoods. Or they're more similar to the Howard Stern show, a very terrible version of it. But they're not journalists. Journalists report actual news and facts, while they engage in innuendo. If I can't really say a word, y'all know what I'm trying to say. Because I can't say words sometimes. That's one of the words I struggle to say. So they engage in that and make up blatant falsehoods and lie to push certain narratives. Now, the one last part of this clip that I want to touch on is when Jenks said, let's see if he is Kyle, can placate the people he's trying to placate. We had a great relationship with him. We supported him. Nowadays, it seems like he's going in a different direction. So a few things here to take note of. He suggests that Kyle is trying to pander to a certain audience. Meaning, the audience he claims that Kyle is trying to pander to, or I should still placate, is those who he calls the alt-right, the alt-left, and right-wingers. And the people he calls the alt-left and right-wingers are people who support Medicare for all and people who are actually anti-war, unlike the Young Turks and especially unlike Cenk, who used to go to pro-war rallies. What type of maniac do you have to be to go to a pro-war rally? And another thing to take note of, he says they used to be friends. They had a great relationship. So that suggests that was in the past, that they no longer have a good relationship. If I have a good relationship with somebody, I would say have rather than the past tense had. So it suggests that their split wasn't very amicable. Again, when he suggests that Kyle is trying to pander to a certain audience, he means that the people who aren't maniacs, like those who work at TYT, people who listen and follow real journalists such as Glenn Greenwald, Aaron Mate, Jimmy Dore, the Fred Hampton leftists, Hair of the Dog Show, Sabi Sabs, all great journalists. Nico House. So those are the people who he would suggest are crazy right-wingers. People who actually have sense. So it's great to see Kyle going in that direction, towards the left, rather than going way towards the right, towards the CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, One America Network, the direction that the Young Turks have been going down for a while. It's great to see Kyle's going in the exact opposite direction. Now, the one thing I wonder is, will Mike Figueredo do the same? Finally, the last question that I have is, what type of maniac would still be a fan of the Young Turks? So that's all I gotta say for this video. If you like the content, like and subscribe to the channel, turn on the post notifications to know when I post videos in the future, because YouTube will not show you my videos unless you do so. But I gotta leave you with one more thing before the video is over, and that's the word of the day. The word of the day for today is placate. Placate is spelled Placate. The definition of placate is to soothe or mollify, especially by concession. Appease. So now I will attempt to use placate in a sentence. The Young Turks, in an attempt to placate their corporate donors, have gone so far to the right that they lost their progressive base. They're slowly dying, and I will cover it all. Hopefully I use that sentence correctly. So one other thing I gotta say, it's ironic that I'm wearing an anti-gun violence t-shirt because TYT is dying, and I'm here for it. I support it. Also, shout out to East Flatbush Village, Monique and Eric Waterman, who's like a second mom and dad to me. Shout out to them. That's all I gotta say for this video. Like the content, like and subscribe, turn post notifications. Said it all before. Y'all know this. Turn post notifications because YouTube's not gonna share my video. Other than that, I have a Patreon now. My Patreon is patreon.com/keepit100dre. If you want to donate anywhere between $3 to $10 a month, helps the channel grow massively. If you want to donate any more, you can donate to my Buy Me a Coffee account. It's buymeacoffee.com/keepit100dre. Both will be linked in the description below. Anything else? Yes, watch my George Floyd documentary. I said it a million times. I'm gonna keep saying it till it at least gets to 100 views. I worked my ass off on it. It's my best piece of work. So if you like anything I've done so far, you would love this. So that's all I gotta say for this video. Anything else? No. Oh yeah. Check out my playlist. Check out my playlist on on TYT's. I'm not sure what I'm gonna name it yet, but it's gonna be in the video. But TYT's death pretty much, TYT's destruction, and TYT's terrible. Whatever I'm gonna name the playlist is gonna be posted on the end screen, so you can watch all of my videos so far. I have breaking down the death of TYT, how terrible TYT is, them being destroyed, or whatever I'm gonna call it. So that's all I gotta say for this video. 100%. Peace.
Well, I've been stacking up. Nah, really that ain't accurate, cause I just spent my whole damn advance in the past couple months just to compensate for times we ain't have enough. Ooh.